Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you. Path to self-realization, self-mastery. Hey, y'all, it's all about us modern day people using ancient technology on our way to our destiny. So, I am here to talk about spiritual readings, which is one of the best ancient tools that I have ever used. Actually, spiritual readings is like doing them is my gifts. And so, this is a request by someone. One of the viewers asked me to address this topic. What do you do when you get a reading that you don't like? So I want to talk about that because it's twofold. But first, let me say thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you to all of you who are in the Patreon Inner Circle. I appreciate you for joining the Inner Circle community. It is a joy to have you there and to actually provide support for me making these videos. Please, anyone out there, feel free to join the Inner Circle community. You can get in for as little as $5 and get some amazing content. Either get it first, or there's some content that I only share there in the Inner Circle. Patreon.com/Goddess Body Mind Spirit. So now let me talk to you about what is going on with these spiritual readings. So first and foremost, a spiritual reading is when we go to someone who is a psychic, or maybe they use an oracle deck. So for instance, I just so happen to have mine over here on the table. I use the Metu Neter oracle deck. Some people use tarot, some people use angel decks, some people use runes. If you go to an Orisha priest or priestess, they may use the cowrie shell. So for instance, I'm an Orisha priestess, and I use Meridine Lagoon, which is 16 cowries. The Iyanifas and Babalaos use the Okwele, which is still cowrie shells, but it's just a different way of the cowrie shells divining. So whatever we use, we get a reading, and sometimes we see somebody's offering readings, and it's like, hey, I want to get a reading. This person seems interesting. I needed a reading. Gonna go with them. Sometimes it's recommended that we go to somebody, There's different ways that people find someone to do divination for them. So my first point would be that it's really important that you go to somebody who you feel like, I'm pretty certain this person is doing this for the right reasons. I remember there's this guy, I don't even want to say his name. He was doing these some people do astrological readings. How did I forget astrology? Oh my gosh. Some people use astrology to do readings, right? Anywho, there's this astrologer. Man, he was out there doing it up. I remember when I first started listening to him, just his personality, he was a little funny, but in a little bit of a sarcastic way. And I think, I don't know, maybe he did Vedic astrology. I don't know. But initially I was listening to him, and it was sort of like, okay, I was still sort of new to astrology at that point. But then after a while, I said, you know what? I don't really know if this guy is legit. Every time I turn around, he's bashing other astrologers. This man bashed so many other astrologers, he got taken off of YouTube. So the thing that I think would have been important for people, because there are people who went and got readings from this guy, and this guy is not an astrologer. He does not know how to do astrology. He was using astrology software and just reading straight up from the astrology software. So it's like, you want to shop around and find somebody who you feel like you can sort of trust. So sometimes when you go to someone they're like, this is my astrologer, or this is the person who does readings for me. I get readings that way from people sometimes. Someone referred them to me. This person loves the work that I do with them. They're getting results. And so they get a referral. So, that would probably be a really good way, or to just sort of like follow that person, because what ends up happening is if you get a reading and you don't like what the reading says and you don't like the person, then you're not going to trust the reading. You won't be able to tell if it's your ego that's pushing back up against that reading, or if it's like, nah, this person really doesn't know what they're doing, So first and foremost, you really should get to know the reader. But one thing I do know is that we know when someone is telling us the truth and when they're not. That's number two. You know when someone is really telling you the truth, because it's going to resonate even if you don't like it. Sometimes they'll say something's going on in your relationship. Well, you're in denial about that. They bring it up and all of a sudden you're feeling like, I don't like this reading. I don't like this reading, And you always have the options. And I would think most people who do readings want you to tell them, what do you want to know? If you go and you're like, just tell me in general, well, they're going to go to relationships because that's just like a natural area to look at. So you can always say, I don't want to hear about my relationship, if you want to, stay in denial. And it's no judgment. All right. But let's say you go to someone, they start talking, okay, well, I see something's going on with your relationship. And you really were like, oh, I did not like this. Oh, like, it's not looking too good. You got some challenges going on in that relationship. And, if you want this relationship, maybe you need to be trying to like get this thing together. Otherwise, it's looking like this thing may not make it, So, your ego may push back up against that. Your ego, you may not like that because it's true, right? Or if you're in a happy relationship, it's like you literally do not see anything going on in your relationship right now. And they're like, yeah, I see a breakup coming. That's questionable to me. That is like, okay, you see a breakup coming in my relationship. And so we have to begin to like really get real with ourselves about, is it my ego that's pushing back up against this relationship? Or is this person looking at, like, are you looking at the wrong chart? Are you interpreting the oracles the wrong way? You talking about my relationship, but maybe it's something else. But you think it's the relationship, but it's something else. Like, like really, you are off. You are off. You way off, right? We got to start looking at what is it really? And if it's, you don't like what they're saying because they're telling you the truth, that's really what I want to talk about the most in this video. Because once you begin to realize this person is a sham or whatever, I would confront them if I were you. I would say, no, that's not, I have no idea what you're talking about. All right. And I probably need to make a video about the responsibility in a reading, because if I talk about it here, it's going to go too long. But there is a responsibility that people who do readings have. Like, how do we talk? Let's say you see something really bad coming in somebody's relationship. I had someone say, your husband's going to die. I'm like, what the frick? You never say that in a reading. Like, okay, that's a red flag. All right. I'm going to put that on pause in this video. I'm going to make another video about that. All right. Let's talk about when the oracle, the diviner, is telling you, and that's something that we need to clear up. Let's talk about point number 3. When you are getting a reading, the person that you're looking at is interpreting the oracle. All right. I'm telling you what I see in the oracle. This ain't coming from Tyra Omilade. All right. I'm not making anything up. Now, I don't know about other folks, but I will tell you, most people are like me who are doing this. We really care about what we're doing, and we're wanting to tell you what we see, right? And it's not coming for us. I showed you, I use cards, or I will look at your birth chart. I will cast the oracle with the Meridian Lagoon. I'm just looking at what the oracles say, and I'm telling you what I see. All right. So don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at a reader. If they're telling you don't like what they're telling you the truth, you just don't like the truth because you don't want to make the changes. You don't like what you're hearing. It's uncomfortable, right? They're just looking at it. All right. So you need to remember that. Okay. So you start getting a reading and it's not going the way you want it to go. Like you went into this reading maybe expecting to hear what you thought you were going to hear. So if you can find somebody that you trust and they start talking to you like that, my advice is just to take it. All right? Just take it. So this question was asked of me before I went on my trip to the Dominican Republic. But I can tell you, I got the answer, the video. I was like, I got the video. I've got the video after my trip. So I did not do a reading about the advisability of us going to this place. Instead, I used my intuition. We wanted to go to some place that was outside, ecotourism, where we're not just sitting in a resort, which I don't knock resorts, but we did not want to be in a resort. We wanted to be at a resort-like place, but be outside because my husband loves being outside, but I wanted a bed. I wanted a taste of luxury, okay? My moon is in Taurus, y'all. Don't judge me. I need my luxury, all right? Just simple pleasures, but I need my luxury. So we choose this place. And I was not thinking about Dominican Republic, nothing. I just was like, oh, I want to go to this place. It's in the Dominican Republic. Let's go. So as we got closer to taking the trip, I decided I need to get the energy surrounding this trip. I just want to see what's it going to, what energy are we dealing with while we're there? And that's when I began to have a freaking meltdown. I'm my own diviner for the most part. I'm looking at the reading and it's like something with our health, something negative regarding the health, the body, right? I'm thinking, oh my God, all these stories of people going to the Dominican Republic dying. Like, is that going to be me and my husband? And then I start looking at my chart and I'm like, it's the energy of death. I don't even know what I was looking at in my chart, but it was like anything that could terrify me of dying, it was like there. And if I wasn't going on this trip, it would have been the exact same thing in my chart, except I probably would have interpreted it differently just because it wasn't me going on a trip out of the country, and especially not going to the Dominican Republic. So I'm doing all these readings like, okay, can I change the energy of this? If I make a sacrifice, will this prevent it? And basically the oracle said, you can do a little bit of something, but for the most part, no. Even now, I'm really trying to figure out the outcome of this thing, but I'm going to get there. So the oracle said, no, but definitely do some spiritual work before you go. So, I made some offerings in my Orisha way and said my prayers and, just really meditated on my life. Like, do I really feel like this is the end? And, like, I want to live. I promise when I come back home, if you let me live, I'm going to do everything I'm supposed to do, right? For my destiny. So I told my husband, and with all the stuff that was going down too, we were like, we're not taking any unnecessary risk. We're not taking any unnecessary risk. We're going to play it safe. We get there. I was so stressed getting there just because it was so much to get there that I felt sick. Y'all know I talked about that in one of my videos. I felt sick the first day I was there. That night, I was like, I don't feel right. I knew I was not going on any excursions. I was like, oh, this must be what the oracle is talking about. I don't feel well. Take it easy. Everything's good. Perfect. And I sort of felt like this reading to a certain degree, I don't even remember what the readings were at this point because it's been so long, but I felt like it had something to do with my husband, but I couldn't figure out if that was the case or if it was just me. So he went on the first excursion. The second day we went on an excursion together. And I was staying real chill, just I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. I'm not doing anything that I feel is too risky. I did a zip line. There's this zip line in Samana. So that was awesome. And of course, I'm praying the whole time because I'm zip lining across this valley or whatever. But it looked very safe the way this zip line was set up. So I was like, okay, I feel like I'm going to survive this. Thursday comes and goes. Friday is here. And it was the one day-long excursion I decided to go on because I just was like, I'm going to get some rest while I'm in the Dominican Republic. We go on this day-long excursion. The beaches in the Dominican Republic, it was to this beautiful, beautiful beach, Playa Rincon or something like that. And it's great. And I'm feeling pretty optimistic at this point. I'm like, wow, we've done great. Like, it's Friday and we still alive. And I love the Dominican Republic, so it's nothing against the Dominican Republic. It was all about this reading. It was weighing heavy on my mind the whole time I was there. I'm like, it's Friday. I said, but I'm not going to believe everything is okay until I get to my house. So we go on this excursion. We're at this beautiful beach. They took us to Coldwater Spring. And then it was time for us to go back. Now, the way we got to the beach was on a scooter, which my husband has never driven a scooter. I was riding on the back of the scooter with him through Dominican Republic, which their driving is, to us Americans, crazy. And so we're riding the scooter and we make it there perfectly. We're coming back from the beach and we fall off the scooter. It's basically an accident. We didn't run into anybody. My husband lost control of the scooter some kind of way. We fall off. I hurt my knee. It's bleeding. My husband falls into a barbed wire fence. He's all scratched and scraped or whatever. But the good news is this. I had it on my mind the whole time. Not so much my husband, even though I told him about the reading, but both of us were fully clothed. We decided, like, I had on a shirt and pants that came down below, like came halfway down my calf. And he had on long pants and a long sleeve shirt. We both wore closed-toed sandals. Everybody else from where we were staying, they're wearing like these little throws on top of their swimsuits, and folks got on shorts and, the little sandals that they wore to the beach or whatever. We're fully clothed. I'm feeling like I'm looking like so like nerdy, but because we were fully clothed, and I believe it was this oracle, this reading that I hated every piece of it. I was like, I don't want to go and have a bad time in the Dominican Republic. It's the last day we're supposed to be there. The last excursion is at the end of the excursion. We fall off. He gets all scratched up on this barbed wire. I gouge out part of my knee on the pavement or something. I don't know. Knee was just jank and bleeding. But we lived and we were fully dressed, and, it could have been so much worse. His backpack got a hole in it. It would have been his chest if he hadn't been wearing his backpack on the front. This is a backpack that he spent a lot of money on because he's all technical into these outdoorsy stuff or whatever. The backpack protected his chest, and but it was just constantly this reading that was looming over me. A reading I did not like. I said I receive it because at this point it's like I can't cancel my trip. I'm gonna go on this trip. And then the last little part is we get back. It's a whole long story, but suffice it to say, we're leaving out the next morning. We get to the airport. This is part 2 of this energy of something with health and resources is what this reading was indicating. And our flight got delayed by 10 freaking hours. We were stranded in the Santo Domingo airport for 10 hours. The plane has something is wrong with the plane. And they're telling us they're getting a part and they're going to fix it. It was a lie. They weren't going to fix that airplane. But because I'm like, I don't want to die, the reading said possibly something with health. I don't want to die. it turns out that they knew there was a plane coming from New York. And so we got on the plane, a different plane that had just flown in. So I was like, "Ooh, this plane works." So I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it back to Atlanta. And finally, we made it back home here to Tennessee. I have never been so happy. I've been so grateful since I've been back. Maybe that's what this is about. I was so grateful to get back. I was so happy that things turned out. The reading was freaking right. So I wasn't shocked. As I was standing there looking at me and my husband trying to recoup from this accident, I was like, the oracle told me this was going to happen. I tried to avert it. I don't know why it had to happen, but the oracle told me it was going to happen. And so I wasn't in shock. I don't have no pity parties going on. I feel grateful because it turned out as well as it did. Sometimes you're going to get a reading you don't like, but it's exactly what you need. Sometimes when I divine for my friends, they're like, "Woo, that was harsh." And I'm like, I don't mean to be harsh. I don't mean to be harsh. This is just what the oracle told me, and I'm telling you what the oracle says. All right. And if you go with what the oracle says, then you're going to be happier. You're not going to be in shock. And the other thing, I remember one time someone got a reading from me, and it was like something they didn't want to hear. And then after they thought about it, it was like an opportunity to get an expansive perspective on their idea, because what they were going to do maybe was just too slim in perspective. It gave them a whole new perspective, leading to more abundance and more prosperity. All right. So sometimes when you get a reading you don't like, it's because something's wrong. It's not going to be every reading you like. The whole reading shouldn't be negative, but if it is, it's probably because your life is negative. If you're going to a tried and true spiritual reader / diviner, your life is probably jank if the reading is mostly negative. But, and I'll talk about this in another video, that diviner should give you hope. That reader should give you a roadmap, because that's what a reading is. It's a roadmap so that you can navigate which direction you need to go next. That roadmap told me, the roadmap that I got, it said, look, you better play it safe. And because I did not go on that day-long excursion the first day I was there, I started feeling better, right? And because I was like, I got to play it safe, I was fully dressed. My husband, that's just how he rolls. But it's sort of like based on him too, that I, was like, oh, I need to get fully dressed, doing something like riding on a scooter throughout the city in a place where we're not used to the driving and we're not used to riding scooters. So it gave me a roadmap and I was not in shock, nothing. So it's good when you can get the reading. It's wonderful when that reading tells you everything that you want to hear. And it's wonderful when the reading gives you what you were like, I did not want to hear this, but thank you, because now you're going to be better off. It's all about staying on the straight and narrow. So there you go. And I'll give you one last thing. There are plenty of people out there who've said, no, I don't want a reading because I'm pretty sure I know the reading's going to tell me what I don't want to hear. And I commend those people, because let me tell you something. One thing that I don't like is if people get a reading and they don't follow it. And this is why I feel people should pay for readings. When people are learning how to do readings, maybe you're not going to pay for those readings, but you should pay for your reading, so that if you decide you're going to just take it and toss it out the window, that reader, that diviner doesn't feel like, well, dang, I just wasted my breath. I just wasted my ashe sharing what the oracle has given to this person. Because I can tell you, when I was learning how to do readings, or occasionally I've done readings for friends who, you're not super deep, you're not super tight. There's very, very few people I do free readings for, very few. And one time I did a reading for somebody, on what was going on with her child in school. And she did not listen to me. 2 times I went to the oracle. She was like, "Oh yeah." Because I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I can consult my oracle because I don't know what you need to do. The oracle said, do A. She didn't do it. She came back. I said, well, the oracle said do A. Would you like me to ask again? Because now we're a year later. Your kid is in trouble. She didn't listen again. And I told her, because she came back to me a third time complaining about what's going on. I said, I'm not going to the oracle for you because you don't listen. And the oracle had indicated this was what was going to happen. So I'm not doing a reading for you. And I never have done another reading for her. So yeah, I respect people who say, no, I'm not getting a reading because I'm pretty sure I know what the oracle's going to say. And I don't want to hear that. That's respect for me. All right. But when you do want to make a change, when you really do want to know what you should do and where you should go, get that reading, swallow that bitter pill. If it gives you something that you don't want to hear, swallow that bitter pill and do that thing. So I'm going to make 2 more videos. One where I talk about dealing with people who maybe aren't doing videos or readings correctly, and maybe another one on what to do with the reading. Okay, so thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Please like the video, share the video. Let me know your thoughts on when you got a reading that you did not like, but you listened to it anyway and it benefited you. And y'all know I do readings for people. I use the African oracles. I use astrology. I go to the ends to make sure that I give you everything you need to know what's going on about your situation or just in general. GoddessBodyMindSpirit.com, and just go to the spiritual readings page there on my website. Thank you all so much. See you in the next video. Peace.